up. 'Cause here we go.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/mg.show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Oh my gosh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Patriots! Wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this broadcast, hello, shadygrooove, deep behind enemy lines, my partner in justice, Shady, welcome.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to Wednesday. Here you are. If you keep up, good on you, because let me tell you something right now. Donald Trump is outpacing them in a way that you could not possibly believe. This is the strategy. If you don't see it, then you're clueless right now. And all the clueless people are getting hung up, man. They're getting hung up on all of these little their little side rabbit holes. This is the reason he's basically raking them over a cheese grater is the best way that I can put it, because they cannot sustain this pace. And no matter what kind of narratives they try to generate, by the time they get them to press, Donald Trump is 4 days ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And, you know, we're having a hard time keeping up on all this, too. We've got the Democrat Epstein Boomerang incoming right now. You got to be careful what you wish for, folks. And there's now news that Plaskett, right, his constituent. Yeah, I'm just answering my constituent. Jeffrey Epstein was just a constituent, Shady. That's all.
Yeah, but he was just, I'm sure he was just a constituent of Bill Clinton too, wasn't he?
Hey, don't be making fun of me,
you were your president. You were his president. So effectively, Epstein was just communicating with Bill. But if he was talking to Trump, he's a pedophile.
And Plaskett, right? Plaskett, so taking messages. She was going to give back the Epstein money, but she didn't. And then you've got Hakeem Brooklyn Obama Jeffries taking money from actual Jeffrey Epstein. It's all boomeranging on these guys. Whoa.
Oh, no, whoa. How about now?
I don't know.
You're on the small shot right now, so you might be okay.
Oh, my God, this sucks. All right,
okay.
so we're going to go directly to Donald J. Trump, who is talking with, what is it, MDS?
MBS, yes.
MBS. Who is the crown prince of Saudi Arabia. And this is remarks at the U.S.-Saudi investment forum. And they're so worried about Khashoggi. Is Flynn worried about Khashoggi and Alex Jones? Are they worried? They should be.
They absolutely should be. And I think this is amazing, guys. I honestly do think that, you know, what you're seeing right here. Okay, Understand that there's a very specific reason that these people are doing what they're doing. It's not like they couldn't have been bringing up all of these crazy points that they're bringing up right now and throwing in your face about Israel and all these other things that they're currently doing. Well, it's not like they didn't think those things before. They haven't come to new realizations or new revelations. I just want to make this clear so everybody can see, because they're making it look like, oh, we've just discovered all this stuff. No. They've been doing this. They think like this. This is who they are. This is who they've always been. So effectively what Donald Trump is doing, he's coming in to get rid of them. We are cleaning house right now. And it looks a little bit messy because all these people are activating all of their little minions down the line, and they're screaming, MAGA is dead. What's his name? QAnon John putting the picture of Donald Trump as a goat, or as some sort of figure of the devil or evil or whatever. Like, all of these different things that are going on are very important for you to understand that they.
Let me just because you mentioned QAnon John, which is now TPV John. TPV John he took Lynn Wood's side on the fake Lynn Wood General Flynn fight, okay? And then after all was said and done, he really he called General Flynn disparaging names. And then General Flynn takes him under his wing and helps him with his lawsuits, guys. And now that same person is calling Donald J. Trump a Satanist, guys.
So the point being that they're not new. This is not new. This is what they thought before. They were never MAGA. We got to make this clear to you guys. The InfoWars Network, all of these people, they were pretending. They're opportunists. There's a very big difference between a patriot and an opportunist. An opportunist will go wherever the money goes, or wherever the wind blows, or wherever the funding takes them. A patriot will always advocate what is best for America, and nothing else matters. What Donald Trump is doing right now is bringing in trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of investment into America that would have never happened. And all these people that called us isolationists and said that we were all these things, where we're winning the fight for the first time ever. And all of these people that you're seeing in the InfoWars networks have always been against you, and they never thought that you would win like this. This is why they're having to pivot, because they're nervous that you're going to sweep the midterms. And if you sweep the midterms, that means you're going to sweep 2028. That means that their whole neocon game is lock, stock, and barrel donezo. And not only that, they're going to be exposed during the process. So that's why they're animated.
Yep. Yeah. And we're winning consistently. Now we're going to go to let's go, because it's happening now, and we're going to play it. This is Donald Trump delivers remarks at the U.S. Saudi Investment Forum. This is huge news, no matter what happens. So, real quick, Shady, they're talking about the CIA, maybe the ABC News. The CIA said that Khashoggi. No, guys, do we trust the CIA that was corrupt AF, Shady Groove?
No, and plus we actually know what happened there.
Yeah,
so, it was actually the CIA that took him out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. All right, here we go. This is happening now. Let's
go. They needed a news story, Jeff. They needed to weaponize a news story.
Of course, a new psyop.
Rise for the entrance of the 45th and 47th president.
The 45th and 47th president, not dash. Okay,
well, not through.
No.
Of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
And His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed ibn Salman ibn Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
I don't know if the audience can hear you because I can't hear you. What are you saying? I'm sorry.
You have no idea the significance of this because everybody is poo-pooing it. And yes, they can hear me.
Okay. I didn't know that because I can't.
Your Royal Highness, we now invite you to deliver your remarks. The floor is yours. سمو سيدي الكلمة لك.
فخامة الرئيس دونالد ترامب، الحضور الكرام، يسعدنا نلتقي بكم اليوم في واشنطن بعد 6 أشهر من انعقاد منتدى الاستثمار السعودي الأمريكي في الرياض الذي انعقد خلال زيارتكم فخامة الرئيس، حيث وضعنا الأسس لشراكة تقوم على النمو والتنويع الاقتصادي والابتكار، كما وقعنا وثيقة الشراكة الاقتصادية الاستراتيجية بين
economic diversification.
الدفاع والطاقة والذكاء الاصطناعي والمعادن النادرة والقطاع المالي.
President. We laid the foundations for partnership based on growth, economic diversification, and innovation, and we signed a strategic economic partnership document between our two countries. In a historic step to cement our economic cooperation, today we are delighted to sign investment agreements and projects that include sectors such as defense, energy, AI, rare minerals, and finance. This will contribute to generating huge job opportunities in our two countries and to economic growth. We contribute to strengthening our historical relations and developing investment tracks between our two countries in line with our ambitions. I invite you.
And it's great to be here today at the U.S. Saudi Investment Forum. Great group of people. The biggest, you got the biggest in the room. But some of the most talented, maybe most importantly, the word talent, successful and innovative business leaders anywhere on the planet. Whether you have come from near or far, we're delighted to have you invest right here in the hottest country anywhere in the world. Every leader is saying the United States we're the hottest country in the world. We're going to keep it that way too. But this has been, according to those that seem to say it, and I will say it, I would never say a thing like that because I want to be very modest. I always want to be modest as I can. They say this has been the best 9 months that any president has ever had. I'd say that's pretty good, right? But we've had a great 9 months. Now we have to do it more than a few more times. We just have to keep it going. We'll keep it going. I want to thank my friend, a great gentleman, Crown Prince Mohammed of Saudi Arabia, for his bold leadership and deep commitment to the ties between our two countries. Thank you. Thank you. Great gentleman. Yesterday, we had a phenomenal visit at the White House celebrating the 80-year bond between the United States and Saudi Arabia. We ended with an unbelievable show last night in a room that was far too small, but the next time you're here, you'll have a much bigger room. It's gonna be much bigger. I made more enemies last night by we had 119 people. That was a record for the room. So they've wanted for 150 years. They've been clamoring for a ballroom at the White House, and we're giving them one. We're giving them one plus. And it'll be something, but you'll be here. You'll be among the first, if not the first, if you'd like. You know, we'll work it out. But you had a lot of people that wanted to be there. They really would have witnessed something that was really incredible. The entertainment last night was incredible, including our great opera singer, but including the military. The talent in the military musically is also incredible. So it was great to be with you last night. I think it was something to behold. We officially designated the kingdom yesterday as the major non-NATO ally. That's a big deal. That's actually a very big deal.
Wait, you mean so Israel's not the biggest non-NATO ally? Wow. You're muted. You were muted. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't realize that. Yeah, no, it absolutely is not.
Wow. Okay. So that's interesting, isn't it?
No, it's more than interesting because this is where the future is. You know, everybody wants to keep looking to the past. Let me tell you guys, you're not going to find the future if you keep looking to the past. The past was built like a prison. Everything in the past was a prison. World War II was a prison. The Federal Reserve was a prison. Vietnam War was a prison. The Iraq War was a prison. The Patriot Act was a prison. 9/11 was a prison. Every single thing that happened to you during your life was a prison. You have a choice right now in life. You can choose to stay in your prison, but the door is open. You're more than welcome to stay there. The door is open. You're welcome to walk out of the prison. You're welcome to walk out of the facility. You're welcome to walk through the gates and rejoin society. After you come back from your doom and gloom fancy feast for a lifetime of BS information from the InfoWars networks. Because this
Speaking of Shady, Israel is controlling the United States, Shady.
Great honor. That happens seldom, very seldom, if at all. So I just want to congratulate you on that. That's a sign of trust. We signed a historic strategic defense agreement yesterday also, and that's something that is likewise very rare, and it's a very honored company that you're in. And we're going to be selling Saudi Arabia some of the greatest military equipment ever built. We build the best military equipment in the world by far. That's why we do the most business, including nearly 300 American-made tanks is what you're buying, among many other things, the airplanes, and we're working on getting that approved very quickly. It's already approved, but don't worry. We have to go through a process. The process will take, Elon knows, the process will take about, would you say 24 hours? I think so. You're in good shape, very good shape. The partnership between our two nations is among the most consequential in the entire world, and together the Crown Prince and I are making an alliance stronger and more powerful than it's ever been before. We've had good relationships and frankly not good. You didn't have a good relationship with Barack Hussein Obama. You didn't have a good relationship with Sleepy Joe Biden. But you had a great relationship with me, and now it's as good as it was, and probably even better if you think about it, because we took the dark cloud away from your country. It was called Iran and its nuclear capability, and we obliterated that very quickly and strongly and powerfully. But that was a real cloud over the whole Middle East, and now they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. They want to see if they can work out a deal with us, and we'll be doing that probably. But that was a terrible cloud that you had to live with for a long time. 22 years they were thinking about doing that, the B-2s. That was even before the B-2s. Those B-2s, what machines they were, they flew in, they were undetectable, and they dropped their payload, and every single bomb hit its exact mark, which was a shaft going deep into the mountain. And every single one of them hit, and it was total obliteration. And then I was criticized by some of the fake news for saying the word obliteration was too strong, perhaps. They had no idea. Nobody saw it. 3 days later, when the Atomic Energy Commission went, they said it was total obliteration, beyond obliteration, they said. But they want to make a deal. We'll see what happens. This week, our countries also signed groundbreaking agreements on civil nuclear energy, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence. And I want to congratulate a lot of the great American leaders, business leaders that are in the room. And you'll do a great job for Saudi Arabia and for a lot of other people in the room that are buying your product, taking your product, and using your product. All of that is in addition to the $600 billion investment in the United States that Saudi Arabia announced during my unforgettable visit there last spring. Well, I said, could you try and get that up to $1 trillion? And yesterday, the Crown Prince announced that the number that they'll be investing in the United States is $1 trillion. So that's really an honor. And we just took a picture backstage with some of the great business leaders and some of the great people, friends of mine from your country, and beautiful picture. And while we were taking the picture, I said, could you make it 1.5 trillion? So he's got something to think about. I don't know. We'll get something. I think we'll get something, Scott, right? But many of you in the room are playing a key role in making these projects happen, and we're told that $270 billion in agreements and sales are being signed between dozens of companies, and that's just happening today, $270 billion. That's big stuff. So on behalf of the thousands of American workers who I care about most, I want to thank you for bringing all those jobs and all those great opportunities to America and bringing great wealth to America. We've become a very wealthy country. We have a couple of little things. We're waiting for a decision. We hope that's going to be good, but if it's not, we always find ways, we find ways, but we've done things that nobody thought were possible, and we're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars. Tariffs have been, frankly, the best thing that's ever happened to our country. They've always been used against us, and we never had people that were smart enough to use them in the opposite direction. But now you do, and we have taken in trillions of dollars, and it's been absolutely amazing. We're going to be doing a dividend to the people, low and middle income, moderate income people, of at least $2,000. In addition to that, we'll be paying down debt very substantially. It's the kind of money we're taking in. And really, countries that took advantage of us are no longer taking advantage of us. Friends, some of our friends treated us far worse than our enemies on trade anyway, and we've got that all straightened out. And everybody's happy. They respect us again. You know, it's like one of those things. I think they like us better, and they actually respect us, and it works out much better for us, too. But I especially want to thank our numerous Saudi friends here today, including the ambassador to the United States, a friend of mine, Princess Rima. Thank you very much. Great job. Great representative you have. You sent a good representative. And many distinguished ministers and members of the cabinet, governor of the Public Investment Fund. Where's Yasser? Yasser's here someplace. Sometimes I see him dressed both ways. I don't know. It's cooler that way. I'd dress that way if I could. Yasser's terrific. He's a terrific man, actually. So thank you very much, Yasser. And Secretary Scott Bessent, who's been fantastic. Where's Scott? We're thinking about him for the Fed, but he wants no part of it. He likes being Secretary of the Treasury. I think we'll leave him. So let's cross your name off, right? Officially, right? Remember, you said that. I love the Fed job. To me, it's the easiest job in the world. You play golf for 28, 29 days, then you go and make a little speech, tell everybody, in the case of the current guy, the wrong information because he has no clue. But if you have good instincts, you know, it's all based on instincts. I see they want to hire 3,000 economists, 3,000, to report to the Fed chairman. What are they going to do? Take all this information? 3,000 economists. That's why they're spending $4 billion on renovating a building that should have cost $25 million to do. They should have spent $25 million. They're building a basement into the Potomac River. I could have told them that's very tough to do and it doesn't work and it's very expensive. But they're up to $4 billion headed by this clown. But we have 3,000, think of it. They want to hire 3,000 economists. So they took a poll and they interviewed 71 people. And of the 71 people, 2 people got it right. 2 people. One was a great economist whose name I won't tell you because I don't like him personally, but he is good. And the other one that got it the most right was a man named President Donald J. Trump. Do you believe it? And I didn't have an economist. Well, I had Scott. But we got it right, didn't we? Huh? We got everything right. Doug Burgum, where's Doug? Will you please drill a little bit faster? Between him and I'll tell you, you and Chris was great on television, and he's setting records. They're setting records, but I'll never be satisfied. Drill, you know, we got elected. Drill we must, I called it. Drill, baby, drill. Con Edison, a great utility from New York many years ago, they used to have it said, drill we must and dig we must. So when they were digging in a road, they'd have a sign, dig we must. Well, now we're putting those utilities to shame because I'm allowing all of those AI plants that are being built to build their own electric generating force, and they're building them like nobody's ever seen, and they're coming up with ideas and new contraptions like nobody's ever seen. And this way they can't blame me for not producing electric. I said, you produce it yourself. And actually, they didn't believe I was saying that because nobody ever thought of a thing like that. They're building a massive plant. They were going to hook it up to a 200-year-old grid. And you know that wasn't going to work because there's no way of doing that. No way we could have done that. And I had the idea. This was my idea, approved by a couple of people. I said, why wouldn't that happen? They're building a plant for $50 billion. You know, if you build a shopping center for $50 million, it's okay. It's not a bad shopping center. $500 million, you're talking about top of the line. 50 billion. So when it was first explained they're spending 50 billion, I said, no, you mean 50 million. No, sir, we mean 50 billion. And then I saw some of them that were the size of Manhattan. I said, they did mean 50 billion. And I said, well, what you're going to do is with that, how would you like to build your own electric generating plant? And they looked at me like I was crazy, because something like that, they really didn't understand it. The smart guys, they didn't understand it. They said to me at the next meeting, sir, the biggest problem we have will be electricity. I said, you don't understand. I told you last week, you're going to build your own. I'm giving you approval to build your own plant, and you will be approved within a period of 2 to 3 weeks. It used to take 20 years prior to termination. In other words, you would wait 20 years and you wouldn't make it. You'd be voted down 5 to 4. I said, we're getting you approved in a 2-week, 3-week period. In fact, Lee Zeldin, one of the superstars of this administration, I said, Lee, if it's oil and gas, get them approved in 2 weeks. If it's nuclear, add another week. Because some are going nuclear, and they're doing, be careful. They better be careful, but they are going to be careful. They're the greatest people in the world. So now they come back and they actually believed it. And now they're being approved rapidly. And we have things being built, the likes of which nobody's ever seen. We're leading China by a lot in AI. And we're also bringing auto plants in from Canada and from Mexico. They took them, and they're all coming back. They're all coming back because of tariffs. If we didn't have tariffs, I mean, they like the fact that we won the election by a landslide on November 5th. That helped. But they're all coming back, and they're coming back from Germany and Japan. Toyota just announced, as you know, $10 billion worth of new plants. They just announced it last week. I went to various countries, and Japan was one of them. And Toyota's coming in with a $10 billion investment in 4 or 5 plants. Now, we're going to be more advanced than we were. So we led the car industry like 100% 50 years ago. We led the chip industry 30, 40 years ago. We had 100%. Then people came in and started taking it. I don't blame them, Taiwan, etc. They took 100% because we had no president that protected our industry. If we would have said, it's wonderful that you're going to Taiwan, we think it's great, but when you sell your product back into this country, there will be a 250% tariff. Nobody would have left. Nobody would have left. And Intel would have been a giant. Intel would have been, where's Jensen? Intel would have blown, well, he now owns a big chunk of Intel. He's got it figured all different ways. Where are you, Jensen? Stand up. You have done such a good job. And you had a good 2 days, I understand, right? A good 2 days. How's Blackwell doing, okay? Any recent competitors? Anybody going to blow Blackwell away in the next week? They say 10 years, I don't know, maybe 2 years, 3 years. But you will not be stopping there. You'll be going further fast, right? Amazing job you've done. I want to thank Howard Lutnick and Christy Noem for being here. Christy, Howard, good job. Really good job. My daughter Tiffany's here with her great husband, Michael. Thank you very much, Tiffany. Thank you, honey. She was a great student. She went to Georgetown. She was a great, great student, and she finished really right at the top, and we were proud of you. And she was so proud, and her graduation got canceled because of COVID. But I say if her name were something else, they probably wouldn't have canceled it. They didn't like that she did so well in school. They weren't happy about it. I say they canceled your graduation because you were a great student, and they didn't want, but other than that, I have no problems. You see, I don't take anything personally. Anyway, great job. And of course, hundreds of the top minds in technology, finance, and private enterprise from both Saudi Arabia and the United States. But my message to all of the leaders and investors with us today, and they are the best in the world, is very simple. Under the Trump administration, America is back and America is open for business, and America is actually stronger than it's ever been before, ever. We rebuilt the military in my first term. Foolishly, we gave a little bit to Afghanistan, but not very much compared to what we built. But now we're building it at levels that we've never done before. And in addition to that, we're sending a lot out to our allies, and we're making it possible for them to get it. I want those companies to build more plants, to build it faster. We want them to build it faster. The biggest problem we have is we have a backlog because it's so good. Every country wants our missiles, our jets. They want everything we have, and we got to go faster. We just have a new plane, the F-47. It won a very strong competition. It's the newest, and that was won by Boeing. By the way, Boeing is doing an amazing job of coming back. Kelly is doing a great job. They're really moving, and it's really great to see. But they won the competition for the jet fighter, and they say it reaches levels that has never been reached, both in terms of stealth and speed and everything else that they go by. So they're just completing their factory, and they've already started work on the F-47. How did that number get chosen? I don't know, but I didn't pick it. I did not pick it. It was said, "Sir, we'd like to present you with the F-47. I said, "That's an unusual number. How did you pick that number?" After 4 years of economic nightmares under the previous regime, sleepy Joe Biden, he's a sleepy guy, wasn't he? Think he would have been here today? I don't think so. Americans have rejected the failed, and they were really failed, far left models that you were looking at of high taxes and massive spending, soaring costs, crushing regulations, and trillions of dollars in green new scams. Everything was a new scam. Green. Look, I'm all for the environmental everything. I'm all for climate change. You know, they have new word, climate change. It used to be global warming. It's global warming. Well, that didn't work because it started coming down. They did the global cooling thing. Then they just said, we can't keep up with this. It's too much. So we'll go, perfect words, climate change. They're covered. If it rains, if it snows, if it's warm, it's climate change is destroying the world. Remember, the world was supposed to have been gone 2 years ago. They gave us 12 years, Howard, to live, right? 12 years. But that was 14 years ago. The world was going to burn up, but it got actually much cooler. They know these people. It's a little conspiracy out there. We have to investigate them immediately. They probably are being investigated. Their policies punished success, rewarded failure, and produced disaster, including the worst inflation in our country's history. We had the worst inflation in history, and now we have a beautiful normal inflation. It's going to come down over the next few months a little bit more, but we have a nice normal inflation. We had the highest inflation in the history of our country. 9 months ago, our country was dead. But now America is the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country. I don't care what country you're with. America is the hottest country considered. And we did this in a period of 9 months. We're a little longer than that, but it took me about 2 weeks to get started. We're rewarding those who build and create, invent, and invest in the USA. And you know, our big, I call it the great, big, beautiful bill. It's the biggest bill ever passed in the history of Congress. And Scott and I and all of us, we sat down and we said, let's do it, along with the Speaker and John Thune and everybody, said, let's do it all in one bill. And a lot of people were they said, you'll never get it approved. And we didn't have a huge majority. We had a huge presidential win. We won everything. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by millions. We won everything. But the one thing, we won one, it's called districts. The country has districts, and we won in terms of districts 2,750 to 550. And that's why when you see the map of the election, it's the whole country, it's all red, and it's pretty amazing. 2 little blue streaks on the right and on the left, and they're very little and getting smaller. But it's been pretty amazing. But in 4 long years, Joe Biden secured less than $1 trillion. In 9 short months, I've secured $18 trillion to rebuild our factories, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, and bring back those beautiful words, made in America. So think of that. He did less than $1 trillion in 4 years. And in 9 months, we've done more than $18 trillion, okay? That's called success. And we think that by the end of the first year, it'll be over $20 trillion. So, and thank you very much. You helped with that little boost you gave us, that little increase. We appreciate it so much. We appreciate you. So it's just one example. Under the deals being signed this week, workers at GE Aerospace, I think he's here. Where is he? Stand up. What a job you've done with your new engines. And where are you? You're there. It's not a very good location for you. I thought you have been amazing. Great new engine that's supposed to be more efficient, more powerful, and less costly. That's not a bad combination. But GE Aerospace will soon be delivering dozens of new airplane engines for 787 Dreamliners in Saudi Arabia's commercial fleet. Big order. It was a big order just secured. Every new job and every new factory created by these announcements builds up our middle class and really strengthens the industrial backbone of America. And, you know, I view it differently. I used to view it as it's great, great, great. The stock goes up. I view it, everything is jobs now because I don't care. I care about jobs. And we have more jobs. It was just announced. We have more jobs right now than we've ever had in the history of our country. Those are big numbers. You know, it's like crazy. It's just a great stat. More jobs today than we've ever had in the history of our country. And we're going to be producing a lot more coming. In my first term, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and now we're do it again. But this is really bigger and better and stronger. The first term, we had what was considered the best economy that any president has ever had. That's nice. And we got hit with COVID, remember? And we did a great job with COVID, but that was a horrible thing for the whole world. The whole world suffered. Your country suffered. Everybody suffered. And despite that, we had the greatest economy. And before that, forget it. We blew it off the charts. I'll never forget, I met with pollsters the day before I got the news about COVID, but I met with 2 pollsters because we were starting to think about the next election. They said, sir, if George Washington and Abraham Lincoln came back from the dead and they aligned and they went for the president, vice president as a combination, you'd be beating them by 25 points. And then the next day I was told that something strange is happening. There's a lot of death being reported in a certain country. I won't tell you which one because that country is well represented here, but you know which one. And thousands and thousands of people are dying. And I said, that's strange. What would that be? And it turned out to be a disaster for the world. There's, you know, nothing has been seen like that since 1917. I always thought that when I heard, you know, pandemic or anything you want to call it, but I always thought that was like an ancient phenomena, that could never happen in modern times, but it did. But we did a great job with all of the things that we did with the vaccines, with the so many of the drugs that we came up with, making you better. Regeneron is an example. Regeneron was fantastic. I give them great credit for what they did. But we did great, and then we started doing the gowns and the masks and the goggles and the ventilators. We were sending ventilators all over the world. We became the king of ventilators. But what a period of time that was for all of us. But despite that, we had the greatest economy in the history of our we had the greatest economy in the history of the world. And I'll tell you, it was an amazing time. But this looks like it's going to be blowing it away, because when these plants, which are being built now, and many are going to be started very shortly, many, but when they open, we're going to see numbers the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And, you know, in some cases, you're building extremely complex plants. You're building plants to make computers and to make telephones, to make a lot of different things, missiles. But you're building plants that make things that are very, very detailed, and you have to have great knowledge. And you're coming here and you find, if we don't have people that did that before, we are allowing you, and I may take a little heat. I always take a little heat from my people, the people that love me and the people that I love. They happen to be toward the right of center, toward the right. Sometimes they're way right. But If you have to bring people to get those plants opened, we want you to do that, and we want those people to teach our people how to make computer chips and how to make other things. You can't come in, and I'm explaining, you can't come in, open up a massive computer chip factory for billions and billions of dollars like is being done in Arizona, and think you're going to hire people off an unemployment line to run it. They're going to have to bring thousands of people with them, and I'm going to welcome those people. Now, I love my conservative friends. I love MAGA, but this is MAGA. And those people are going to teach our people how to make computer chips, and in a short period of time, our people are going to be doing great, and those people can go home where they probably always want to be. You know, when people are born someplace, they tend to want to go, and we have the greatest country in the world, but they want to go. But they're going to do. We had one case in Georgia where a battery factory, batteries are very dangerous to make. They're complex, much more complex than people understand. And they spent $1 billion to build a factory, and they were told to get out. And I said, stop it. Don't be stupid. And we worked it out. And now they're teaching our people how to do it. But they're going to have to spend, Jensen, I don't think you can open up a big plant with your friend from Taiwan where we're going to have 40 or 50% of the computer chip business at I don't think you can do that with people that don't even know what a chip looks like. Do you agree with that? So somehow, you know, the people that are against this are really, really smart. They're unbelievable patriots, but they just don't understand. Our people have to be taught. This is something they've never done. And we're not going to be successful if we don't allow people that invest billions of dollars in plant and equipment to bring a lot of their people from their country to get that plant open, operating, and working. I'm sorry. So my poll numbers just went down, but with smart people, they've gone way up. They've gone way up. And I mean that. So for those of you that are doing the plants, you're going to have all the help you need, and you're going to do a great job. And you're going to teach our people how to do it, and our people are going to be just as good as your people ever were in not such a long period of time. Since the election, the stock market has set, and this is a little more than 9 months, 46 all-time record highs. And the growth is now amazing, and it's lifting up the Americans and American economy like nobody's ever seen before. It's the biggest, there's never been a period of time like this. Wages for hourly workers are rising at the fastest pace in 60 years, and real wages for construction workers are up $2,200 a year, and that's good, and that's spending. They're going to spend, they're going to buy many of the things that you're making. In 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off food stamps, and that's happening rapidly. You know, when we had the problem 2 weeks ago on the SNAP, and they talked about all of this, the numbers. So when I left, which was a rigged election, by the way, but that's okay. You know, they used to go crazy. I'd say rigged, nobody complains anymore because now they realize it was, and it's been proven, and it continues to be proven. But when I left, that number was $7 billion. Now it's $47 billion. That's Biden. So if you think about it, if Kamala, who's the same basic thing, grossly incompetent, he was incompetent, they're all incompetent because their policies are open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody. I mean, they got the worst policy. I don't talk about it too much because if I talk about it, they might change. So, no, I don't talk about it. I tell people, don't talk about it. Wait till 2 weeks before the election and hit the hell out of them. Right? We talked about that, right, Elon? Said we wait 2 weeks before. It's almost like you're at a war. Don't shoot yet. Don't shoot. Hold your fire. The enemy's rushing. Hold your fire. Don't shoot. Okay, now you can go. 2 weeks before. But I watched a guy the other day, a congressman, fighting for men playing in women's sports. And the new weightlifting record for a certain weight was just set. The man was 119 pounds higher than a woman champion who was a phenomenal champion. beat her by 119, and he was an average lifter prior to transitioning. A lot of the Saudis are sitting here saying, what the hell is he talking about transition? They don't do, Yasser, they don't do a lot of transitioning. They're sitting here, the Saudis are saying, what is he talking about? They're saying, what do you mean women are playing against men? No, that doesn't happen, does it? Yeah, it does. These people are crazy. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today. Think of that, than when I took office. So we picked up almost 2 million workers, and more Americans are now working, as I said, than at any time in the history of our country. Under Biden, 1 out of every 4 new jobs went to increase the size of the federal government. So in other words, 1 out of 4 was a federal worker. Well, I love our federal workers, but that's not the way you can build a country. It's a short road to a disaster. Under my administration, 100%, think of that, of all new jobs created came out of the private sector. In fact,
Huge. Oh,
the federal government,
Huge.
we cut thousands and hundreds of thousands of jobs out of the federal government. Now, if I wanted to do something for purely political reasons, I'd say, Susie, let's hire a couple of million federal workers. And you know what happened? Unemployment is unbelievable. We don't do that. They did that. They used to hire workers in order to fudge up the numbers. The federal workers. By the way, Susie Wiles, most powerful woman anywhere in the world by the biggest, most important magazine. Susie Wiles, she had a father, Pat Summerall, the great announcer, football. He was a great football player, became an even greater, the voice of the NFL, and he was supposed to be a tough cookie, and I believe it 100%.
Press 47 if you support Susie Wiles.
Most powerful woman in the world. She can take out a country, destroy, take out a country with one phone call. That's power. I don't know if I could do that, but she could. Thank you, Susie. Do you feel good about the job you're doing? Huh? She's never going to be satisfied. She's doing a great job. We're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. That's a new word that they're using. Affordability, they talk. They had the worst inflation in history. They had the highest prices in history. The country was going to hell. The only thing that we're going up in is our stock market, okay? The only price that we really have, I mean, we're bringing prices down, but they came up with a new word, affordability. And they look at we were all about affordability, and everyone assumes that that meant that, no, their prices were high. If you look at the numbers, since I took office, core inflation is now below 2.7%. It was at numbers that nobody had ever seen before with them. Walmart just announced that the cost of their standard Thanksgiving meal is reduced by 25% this year from last year. So they look, the Democrats, I don't know, some of you are probably liberal Democrats. I don't know about in your country. I don't know if you know that word, liberal. The word liberal doesn't exist. But they have a new word now. You can't use liberal, you have to use the word progressive. And I don't like using it. It's a beautiful word, progressive. Progressive, that's not them. They're regressive. No, they're regressive. Think of it. So if I don't get in, we have $20 trillion. Let's say she gets in. Instead of $20 trillion, you'd lose $10 trillion, and your welfare and other benefits would go up by 30%. Look at SNAP, look at what happened there. From 7 million to 47, from 7 billion to 47 billion, it would be that. So we would lose business, countries and companies and people would flee our country. They would flee, and all of the other things would go up. In other words, would end up with the shell of a country, and I'm being nice when I use the word shell. This country would have been in big trouble, and I don't want to get him in trouble, but that gentleman right there, the most respected man in the room, that's today because we're here. Most respected man, I have to say that. Don't worry, when I'm with other countries and the leaders sitting there, I say the same about them. Don't worry. Don't get carried away. No, the most respected, one of the great leaders. He told me when I was in his country, he said, and I use it all the time. Sometimes I refer to him because I have great respect for him. I figure it sells better. But he said exactly these words. He said, it's amazing what you've done. 1 year ago, your country was dead. And now you've got the hottest country in the world. You were the first one that said that. And I've used your name hundreds of times. I use your name, I say, that King of Saudi Arabia said. But anyway, but it's true. We were a country that was in really bad trouble. We were a country that would have been dead, I believe, within a year or 2 years after the election. We were headed in a very bad direction. And now we're headed in the best direction, I think, that we've ever been headed. According to the USDA, Turkey is down, think of that, 33%. And I'm not talking about the country of Turkey. He's doing fine. Erdogan is doing good. Just want to, I don't want him calling me, I'm not down 33%. He's a friend of ours. We got to take care of our friends. Since March, egg prices are down 86%. Think of 86%. Many other prices are down in a similar number. When I first came into office, my first 3 days, I had a news conference, and they started screaming at me. Those people, that's a lot of people back there. Look at all the fake news. They started screaming at me, eggs, eggs. I didn't know anything about it. I said, what's going on with eggs? They're up quadruple. I said, I've only been here for 3 days. And we'll work on it. And we got them down very substantially. They said, don't buy eggs for Easter. At the White House, we have an Easter egg hunt. We buy thousands of eggs. People come from all over, thousands. They asked me, sir, would it be possible this year to buy plastic eggs? I said, I'm not buying plastic eggs. The kids are going to pick up an egg. They're going to, what the hell kind of an egg is this? And we bought maximum number of regular eggs, and we got the prices. Brooke Rollins did a great job, Department of Agriculture. She did a fantastic job. And eggs are way down now. Mortgage rates are down despite the Fed. Scott, you got to work in this guy. He's got some real mental problems. No, there's something wrong with him. It's just sweet. I'll be honest, I'd love to fire his ass. He should be fired. Guy's grossly incompetent. And he should be sued for spending $4 billion to build a little building. I'm building a ballroom that's going to cost a tiny fraction of that, and it's bigger than the whole thing put together. You got to work on him, Scott. The only thing Scott's blowing it on is the Fed. Because the Fed, the rates are too high, Scott. And if you don't get it fixed fast, I'm going to fire your ass, okay? I can't tell you, Scott, sir, don't fire him. Sir, please don't fire him. He's got 3 months to go. Don't fire him. I want to get him out, Scott. Please. He's a voice of reason. You're very lucky you have him, I'll tell you that. You've done a good job. I think Howard's a little bit more for firing him. Right, Howard? I think Howard would say, get him the hell out of there. Anyway, well, congressional Democrats wanted the largest tax hike in history. They wanted to raise your taxes by 42% of you, 44%. I proudly gave you the largest tax cuts in American history. Don't forget, the great big beautiful bill doesn't kick in until January 1st. So all these numbers that you're reading about, all these great numbers, that's without the tax cuts. The tax cuts take effect on January 1st, and that's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Even people that go buy a car, they've never had this. Middle-income people don't know what the word deduction is. They don't know. This room, they live on deductions. Me too. How much of a deduction do I get? We all live on it. Middle-income people, they don't know about it. They don't really have deductions. We're giving them a deduction on the interest if they buy a nice Tesla car and they borrow the money. You're so lucky I'm with you, Elon. I'll tell you, has he ever thanked me properly? Although I do let him buy other than electric cars, but these are minor details. We had a mandate, which even Elon thought was ridiculous, that everybody has to have an electric car by 2030. And once, fortunately, he said, that's a ridiculous thing. So I keep quoting, but I'm giving them a deduction. Now, Elon would like to have it differently. A deduction only if you buy a Tesla, right? But we'll let it be for everybody. But think of it. You get a deduction on the loan, on your interest payment. I think that's going to be an unbelievable boon to car sales. I think it's one of the biggest things, and we'll see, but I think it's going to be. And the biggest thing I've done for business and jobs is deductibility, where all of that money that you're spending, 100%, think of it, expensing for all new equipment purchase, factory construction, including structure. Every single thing you're allowed to deduct, expensing 1 year. And that's what made our first tax bill, in my opinion, more than anything else, bringing your money back in. We have that, we have everything. Trillions of dollars, hundreds of billions, but trillions of dollars. Apple alone, Tim Cook brought in hundreds of billions of dollars. You couldn't do it under the old tax code. You'd have to pay so much tax, and just the bureaucracy of it. We made it very simple. We charged a fair rate, and we took in billions. Well, we have that. But the expensing, to me, was the thing that made it so successful. And the other thing is all of those tax cuts that we got, that was the largest tax cut in history. On top of adding to those cuts, we extended the original tax cuts. If we didn't extend, you would have had about a 58% tax increase from that point, and we were able to get that extended. So I want to thank the Speaker of the House, and I want to thank John Thune. And a lot of people thought that bill, because we put everything into that one, we took 4 years worth of things and we put them into the great big beautiful bill, and we got it passed. It was close, like about a quarter of a vote. It was on fumes. We thought for a couple of moments we were not going to be able to get it. Then we would have had to have it in 9 or 12 or 14 different bills. And I don't think we would have gotten many of them approved. We would have gotten some easily approved, but some we would have gotten no votes on. By putting it all together, we got everything. And it was a great job, and I think someday it's going to be appreciated. But among other things, it's the biggest tax cut in history for people and for businesses. So just enjoy it, and think of me every once in a while when you're hiring new people and making a lot of money. You just think about us. But I'm cutting a record number of job-killing regulations. That's the other thing. And I've already slashed more than $1 trillion worth of regulations this year. My last term, I gave the largest regulation cut in history, and now we're doing it again. In fact, for every new regulation, they're mandated to cut 10. And so far, it's for every new regulation, they've cut 30. So they have the idea. And very importantly, we stopped Joe Biden's radical crusade to kill oil and natural gas. Somehow, I don't think Saudi Arabia would like me too much if we decide to kill oil and natural gas. There's nothing like it. It works. Windmills don't work. Other things, I don't want to get into it too much, but they don't work. What does work is natural gas, oil, nuclear, and other things. But the windmills are a disaster. I am the biggest negative person on windmills. They ruin your locations. They ruin. When I look at some of these countrysides that are littered with windmills, and every time it goes around, you lose money. The country loses money. It's a disaster. And I just hope that some of these countries that are losing their ass, we have countries that are going bankrupt because they're putting windmills all over the place. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money with energy. And we talk about oil, and we talk even clean, beautiful coal. I said, you're not allowed to mention the word coal unless you precede it by saying clean, beautiful. So I have my people in the office, they're talking about coal, right? And they're going, sir, a clean, beautiful coal is doing very well, sir. And then 2 minutes later, clean, beautiful coal. Then he mentions the third time, sir, coal. No, it's clean and beautiful. Because it needs a public relations help. Coal needs a little help, public relations-wise. So we refer to it as clean, beautiful coal, and it does have its place, that I can tell you. But we're streamlining permitting for all new energy projects, all new mining projects, and what used to take 28 days is now down to very little. But we had times when, not 28 days, we had times when things would take 14, 15, 16, and even 20 years to get approved. We have a maximum day, 28 days. That's the maximum it'll take. It'll never take more. You can come in with $1 trillion factory. You can come in with what it takes, a maximum of. You don't have to go years and years and years, be abused by bureaucracy. If you build a plant now, you're going to have your plant done within 28 days. And a lot of you are all, because I see everyone shaking their head, you're all agreeing. We're getting you approved by very smart people quickly. You know, when you used to walk in with plans done by the best engineers in the world, thousands of pages, and drop them on some guy who's been there for 28 years approving environmental impact statements, and he's looking at pages that he's never seen, and he's supposed to approve it. He has no idea what the hell is in those pages. So we know what we're doing. We're going to get maximum is 28 days. That's why we have so much under construction, and people can't believe it. They can't believe it. And again, remember what I said, most important thing, you're building your own electric plant. You're really becoming a utility in addition to doing what you're doing.
And as we've pointed out on the MG show, this is phenomenal because you have to, you have to understand how he is undoing it, Shady. I mean, the power plants for individual factories is thereby really screwing the bloodlines in a sense, Shady.
Giving them carte blanche to be able to provide their own power goes around the original agreements made by those that control the levers of economic progress for America.
Yeah.
I mean, that's effectively what he's doing.
I don't think people realize how huge this really is. I mean, I think you have to be a railroad to do electric. Is that what it is, Shadygrooove, if we read it correctly?
Well, yes, it started out as a midship. You had to be a shipbuilding company to have a railroad. And then you had to have a railroad company to have an electrical company. So that's not conjecture. That's not a joke. If you in America wanted to be a railroad company, you had to previously own a shipbuilding company and be associated with the Virginia Company or the East India Trading Company, or in some effect with the global trade that already existed. In other words, so that everyone would get their piece of the pie going up chain whenever commerce is done. America interrupted that whole process for almost 150 years, and they had to implement that process whenever they came back into the modern times of after the Industrial Revolution.
That's right. And then all of the other people that and again, I'm just going to say this one more time. Most people do not understand economics. So that's why they get their heads wrapped around Epstein and all these other ridiculous psychological operations, because they can get their, head around that. You have to understand economics and what this man is really doing to cross the Delaware. Crossing the Delaware is what George Washington did. But what Trump is doing by crossing the Delaware, it's the United States of America and body politic fund, basically, Shady. That's what this is. It's about crossing the bloodlines. That's where the fund is, in Delaware, Shady.
So if we want to get into this, and he's still going?
Not anymore.
But okay, was that it? Where are we at?
It's about it. Yep.
Okay, I've got a few stuff I'll wrap up after he's done.
Okay, it's already done.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so a number of things, and I need to get around a couple of things here for you guys to understand. Get back to the point of what I was saying earlier. The agenda is to make you broke. The agenda is to make you poor. The agenda is to make everything scarce. I cannot make you afraid. I cannot make you a criminal. I cannot make you afraid if you have plenty. I cannot turn you into a criminal if you have plenty. Do you understand that? Be very clear about what I'm getting ready to say to you. I cannot turn you into a criminal if you have plenty, because if you have plenty, you would never go steal from someone else. Okay. This is the orientation that we need to realize that Donald Trump is trying to hand us back on a silver platter, as a matter of fact, with really out you having to do a lot of heavy lifting. What are you saying right there? 3,000 economists that Powell is trying to hire. What's he trying to do? Is he trying to rehire all the government employees that we just threw out? Guys, the old world is gone, and you have to understand that. What's the old world? The old world is scarcity. The old world is scarcity. They've got us all out here fighting for crumbs. I want you to take a moment in your life right now. If you're listening to my voice, you're listening to this show, you're thinking about the future. You're not thinking about the past. Okay. There's cause and effect in life. Cause and effect. Effect is if you live in the past. Okay. You're living in something that's already happened. The cause is what you can do today to better your future. That's the cause. This is what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to get you out of the effect reality, which everybody is in. Doom and gloom. Oh, the sky is falling, Chicken Little. That's the effect reality. You're more than welcome to live in that. Like I said earlier, it's a prison cell. The door is open. You're welcome to walk out. Or you can live in the cause reality, where we mandate that the future be bright for everyone. The future is this. The future is the artificial intelligence that Donald Trump is talking about implementing in America is going to free us as a country from the slave labor that we are having to endure under the man. The man that we're talking about are the bloodline controlled Fortune 500 families that dictate to you every single day what it is and what it is not you are capable and you are not capable of. The artificial intelligence puts the tool in your hand. It puts the tool in your hand. Don't think about this esoteric stuff. Oh, the 5G warfare, they're going to come at me. The artificial intelligence, that's fear. You're using fear. You're not going to get anywhere with fear. You got to get over that. You got to get past that. You've got it in your hand. You can pick up this phone right now and you can record a video of yourself playing a song and post it to TikTok. You can make something of like a recipe, a family recipe that you could publish a cookbook. All of these things. You've got to look inside yourself and you say, what did God put me on this earth for? God didn't put me on this earth to be a pencil pusher for some schmuck in an office somewhere. He put me on his earth to do something good for myself and for my family and for all of us involved. So what can I do? How can I reorient my mind to have the future be the golden age for me and my future, and then set an example as I can point to the leader of the country as an example to lead me out of poverty and scarcity, everybody. We have literally come to a point where Donald Trump trying to solve a problem is the problem. You understand that? Donald Trump trying to solve the problem is the problem that the InfoWars people have with him. Donald Trump trying to solve the problem is the problem the globalists have with him. They have no intention of solving anything. Their intention is to destroy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead, these ridiculous Trump is controlled by Israel narratives.
Correct.
All the stuff that they're doing, everything Trump does, they have a psychological operation for it, Shady. Right. I mean, it's insane.
And it's set in place because this is what I was saying earlier in the show. Whenever we're saying how fast he's going, this is how he's staying away from them. He's breaking their backs trying to keep up with them. Meanwhile, they're acting like they're somehow smarter than he is. You noticing that?
Yeah, well, yeah. Everybody knows better than Trump, don't they?
Everybody's smarter than Trump.
Yeah. Are we live? I mean, everybody is smarter than Trump. And that brings me to the the posts with speed in it. We got Godspeed, we got that, but speed. That's what Trump is doing. So this is interesting here, shadygrooove, because it talks about, what is a cult? Who is worshipped? Why is this relevant? Snow White, Godfather 3, speed. So they're staying away from these guys. Like you're saying, POTUS, you are all heroes, come home safe, speed. So what is Anderson Cooper's background? So that's the media, right? Why is this relevant? Snow White, Godfather 3, speed. So this could actually kind of be a little bit of a pesky Q-proof, shadygrooove, because everything has meaning.
Everything has meaning, and everything that they do has meaning also. And I think that people overlook that. I think that people overlook the idea that the stuff that Candace Owens is doing has meaning. I think you're overlooking that the stuff that Steve Bannon has been doing for the last 4 years has meaning. The meaning was to generate optics to turn people off to Donald Trump. And they're still out there running this stupid stuff. Like, you got the Proud Boys out there running around in Portland acting like, what? You're not protesting. Just think about it for a second. You're not protesting anything. So what are you doing? You're being a vigilante. Okay. Vigilantism isn't supposed to exist in America, guys. Vigilantism is exactly the same thing that BLM is. BLM and Antifa are vigilantes. Proud Boys are trying to be the vigilantes for the right so that the globalists on both sides can have us tearing each other's eyes out as they steal everything that's not nailed down.
And then they had Jake Lang, who was in January 6th, swinging an aluminum bat at Capitol Police in Dearborn, Michigan, walking around with bacon, trying to incite violence down there, Shady Groove.
And he's running for Senate somewhere.
Jesus.
And Flynn Network is supporting that bid. And
of
Alex
course.
Jones,
Of course.
he's wearing a bulletproof vest.
Crazy. And so you asked what is happening too with these protests. What are the ICE protests doing? This is Tom Homan laying it out, Shady. Check this out.
Yep.
You're looking live, Mr. Homan, of some shots. Big protest out in Charlotte where Charlotte's web is unfolding. Well, what would you say to those people out on the street threatening ICE officers all wound up at night?
If you cross the line, you're going to be prosecuted. You slash a tire, you're going to be prosecuted. You impede ICE, you're going to be prosecuted. Pam Boendi's doing a great job. President Trump told me personally months ago, 0 tolerance. You break the law, you impede us, you will be prosecuted by the federal government. I'd also ask them what they have achieved. What did they achieve in LA protests and Chicago protests and Charlotte protests and New York City? What did they achieve? I'll tell you what they achieved. Every time they do this, they achieve more officers are sent to do these operations, more arrests are made, and we flood the zone with more officers. The results of all this foolishness, more arrests, more safety on the street, more ICE officers, they're not going to stop us from doing this. We're going to be there tonight. We're going to be there tomorrow. We're going to be there every day because President Trump made a promise to the American people that we're going to have the biggest deportation operation this country's ever seen. By the end of the week, we'll be over 600,000 deportation, historic record. And that's just since President Trump's been in office. We're not even counting the first 4 months of the Biden administration during the fiscal year.
Wow.
So we're going to keep doing this job. We are not walking away. We're keeping President Trump's promise to make this country safe again, one illegal criminal at a time.
So in other words, Shady, nothing can stop what is coming. And these protests, chasing around the ICE officers with whistles and all of that is actually making it easier for them to get more people to do these operations for ICE, Shady.
Well, look at what you're seeing with yesterday in Charlotte with all of the Mexican flags.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, what is that? Okay, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? We've already told you to get the F out of here if you're here illegally, and if you wanted to come back, you can. So you're not obeying. You're still out there running around flying Mexican flags in American streets. I'm sorry, guys. If you're in an American street and you're flying a Mexican, I don't care. I'm not going to say Mexican, a foreign flag. If you're in a street of America and you're flying a foreign flag, I want DHS to come up to you and ask, or Homeland Security, but Border Patrol to ask you where you come from.
That's right.
I'm sorry. I don't care if you're in Dearborn, Michigan. I don't care if you're in Phoenix, Arizona. I don't care if you're in Los Angeles. If you're flying a flag in the street protesting law enforcement that is law, been negotiated, legislated, implemented, and written into law, substantiated by the Constitution because it's law. If you're protesting that with a foreign flag, then maybe you need to go to wherever that flag says.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't like it, get out.
I don't understand why we can't be that strong, but we got all these little weak liberals out there that they see one thing that is like, one person that's getting arrested and they lose their minds like they're standing up and defending something in Braveheart or some scenario.
Yeah, and that person that's being arrested could be a pedophile, a person that's already murdered somebody, for crying out loud. These foreign countries that are here illegally, these people are let out of the prison and psychological wards, Shady Groove. They're not good people.
They're not good people.
And that's what we're actually after. But you know what? If you're illegal and with one of those people, you're probably going to get deported.
Yeah. Well,
I support that.
And I don't care if you're an American. Listen, dude, if you're an American and you have a construction company and you're running a construction job and you got 10 illegals on that construction company, I want your ass detained for a little bit too. Yeah. I'm sorry. I want to know why you're hiring 10 illegal immigrants to work on this construction site as opposed to hiring an American. That's illegal. Okay. Okay. Not only is it an illegal alien, it's against the law for you to pay somebody to do labor for you at a cheaper rate than the going rate for an American. That's right. Illegal. That is literally The IRS should be prosecuting these people, but they're not, because a huge amount of the people that are using illegal labor are your Fortune 500 companies that have been importing these people and keeping them on site. You go on site to a Tyson factory, or you go on site to one of these large beef producing sites, you will find resident illegal immigrants on site. They feed them, they clothe them, and they get them their EBT card, and they never have to leave the premises.
Yeah, in Charlotte, they were in a church Monday night showing how to escape, and help the people get away from ICE, Shady, illegal aliens. And then we were talking this morning about the school system in Charlotte, Shady Groove. What is it, like 65% of the school didn't show up or more?
What the number it was, I don't know what the percentage of the school. It was 30-some thousand children in the whole school system of Mecklenburg County, Charlotte, didn't show up for school because they're afraid of getting deported. This is the reason this is so dangerous, because what they've done is they've brought all these people here, they've thrown them in the class with all of your friends' kids, and they're in there, and then all of a sudden the kid's missing, and all the other kids are like, "Oh, flip the hell out! Where's Juan?"
Yeah. Whew. Wow.
That's all the way they thought they could embed it.
So let me just play this real quick. This is Jake Lang, Shady Groove, and he's there with the Cam Higbee that was from Portland. The same, people that were there with the Proud Boys, and they came over to Dearborn, Michigan.
What stands out to me is BG on the scene.
Yeah, BG on the scene, who I think is
there.
Part of Antifa.
Always
right?
Antifa. Always left. The Antifa's right there.
Yep. And he's banging bacon on the Quran.
Hey, yo, guys. Hey.
Stop it there, Shady Groove. But I want to point out how this is a psychological operation on you, MAGA. Jake Lang does not represent me in any way, or more than likely, maybe not you. However, this is a General Flynn psychological operation, in my opinion, Shady, just like January 6th, to make MAGA look violent, Shady. Wow. And then here's General Flynn, and this is going to be Jake Lang in front of the Capitol on January 6th.
This is General Flynn for everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. So I don't know if
Jake
you've ever
Lang
had
right here.
A guy like me sing happy birthday, but I'm going to sing happy birthday to you. His spaces, just bear with me, because I'm going to do it. I figured sometimes I've had birthdays many places overseas, and you're sitting there on your birthday and you kind of, nobody's around, and you're just going, yeah, it's my birthday again, especially as you get older. But anyway, bear with me, brother. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, we'll spare you General Flynn actually singing, but this is what I'm talking about. These people are all connected.
And they want you to think that this is somehow organic. Mm-hmm. Remember what I was saying earlier, the old world. They're trying to drag you back into the effect. They're trying to drag you back into the Cold War. They're trying to drag you back into this mindset of isolationism, where we've got to be the scared guy in the corner. Go read Flynn's posts every day. Every single thing that you read, doom and gloom. Oh, it's all over. They've got it. Donald Trump is too stupid to recognize anything. You guys have got to wake up. Oh, you're doing it wrong. Susie Wiles this, Susie Wiles that. What did Trump just say about Susie Wiles?
He loved her.
That she was the most powerful woman in the world, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So why would these people be going at the most powerful? Oh,
interesting. Shady, I've got other breaking news. I don't know if I mentioned it to you today, but Arabella Advisors ceases operations.
We did not talk about this morning, but I am up to date and I am read in on this particular subject, sir.
It reemerges as Sunflower Services, guys.
Boy, that was a really bad rebrand.
Wow. So after the Gates Foundation cut ties with Arabella Advisors, this is on Zero Hedge, ceases operations to reemerge as Sunflower Services. Nearly 3 months after the Gates Foundation decided to sever its ties with a philanthropic advisor, Arabella Advisors, dark money network of nonprofit entities that the MG.show has been talking about for 4 years. Now people are starting to talk about it. Wow. Now that they're gone, right? Including the new venture fund, 1630 Fund, Hopewood Well Fund, Windward Fund, North Fund. See, they forget that one. So it's very interesting. But this is it, man. Stick a fork in Arabella, allegedly, right? This is their network. We've talked about this for over 4 years, guys, and they finally are just reemerging and reorganizing as another thing called the Sunflower thing, Shady Groove. And look at all the people that they like. Look, where's our research from 4 years ago, Shady? Look at that. Isn't that crazy?
No, because they don't look at it.
That's right.
If they looked at our information, it would show them that the actual corruption are the 501c4 entities.
Yeah, and they have foundations too, don't they?
You wouldn't find a single one of those different people that you just scroll by. Go read every one of them. Put it in AI. Ask AI. Do any of these articles talk about the 501c4 layer to the Arabella Advisors or Sunflower Services? Interesting that they use the word flower in that, by the way.
They love flowers, and they gaslight us, basically, Shady. So we're talking about that. We got this thing, too, with Marjorie Trader Green. She doubled down yesterday and went nuclear on President Trump on the House floor. I think we talked about that. We got Congressman Ralph Norman officially files to strip Democrat Stacey Plaskett of her committee reassignments and launch a full ethics investigation into her collusion with Jeffrey Epstein. He says, like, Plaskett, was coached by Jeffrey Epstein in a 2019 hearing and congratulated after the message by Epstein, good work. And apparently, Shady, that went to vote, and they added another person to that vote, so it failed.
Interesting.
Yeah, they added a Republican out of Florida to that as well. So that's how they went around and they got the Republicans to vote against Stacey Plaskett because they put a Republican in it as well.
I was wondering exactly what happened. I saw that's how it went down. I'm like, how did that work out?
Yeah. Oh, wow. I have a post that was deleted by the author. I don't know who it is. Haven't you figured it out? It's about their corruption, right? Oh, I think it was Luna. But Luna actually posted something about it and said that, there's backroom deals being had. And, she didn't name it, but we figured it out. It was Corey Mills, Shady Groove from Florida.
Yeah, and what's going on with him right now? Isn't there some issues with him, like stolen valor or something? Is that real?
I'm not exactly sure. I didn't dig into it, but, maybe we should have separate votes.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I saw that was starting to come up. I'm like, okay, why are they digging in on this guy? Like, I mean, I don't, whatever. Yeah. I like whatever's out there, we want to be seen, but it's just interesting how these things bubble up.
That's right. So here we go. So this is the Boomerang, Shady Groove. In 2013, Brooklyn Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, was exposed for requesting a meeting and donations from Jeffrey Epstein after he was a known sex predator. Shady, check this out. Yeah.
Colleagues coordination with Epstein.
Hakeem?
Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow.
That's what we found in the last document batch. The files underscore why former President Trump must appear for his deposition. We've subpoenaed him. To date, the Democrats have done nothing to help us secure his appearance. I support full transparency. The Oversight Committee will continue to work to get the truth to the American people and to get justice for the victims. That's our goal of this investigation. With that, I yield back.
Follow the money is what they're going to do. Now, and you're going to see a lot with this Epstein victim things. I think the money that Jeffrey used from these, I think that there were fake victims, maybe not all, but there were some fake victims that got $20 million and they bought the $20 million, the $20 million settlement for $5 million to give to the person that day. And then they used it to stack and fund people that they want in charge. But it's crazy, Shady. I mean, it's crazy. These people are insane.
Well, money's not an obstacle. The money's not what they're doing is, it's all about how do you properly move it around into the right people's hands. You talk about like, the heir, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, that his fate was similar to that of L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize, like how these people, like, next thing you know, it's like the boat comes back and the person's not on the boat. It's like, where did they go?
Yeah. And then let's listen to Josh Hawley last night. Shady Groove, check this out.
Hakeem's people asked Epstein to come to dinner and meet him after he was convicted for fooling around with a 14-year-old.
Now.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, this is why the Democrats they're going to regret, I think, ever playing around with this, and they're going to regret embracing transparency, though I'm glad they did. They thought, I think, that the files would never become public. They thought this was all a game. Well, guess what? They're going to get their wish. They are going to become public. The president's going to sign the bill. The president's been right all along on this. He said months ago, make public everything you can that's not classified. Now Congress is finally going to do it. And I think we're going to learn a lot, Jesse. A lot of people suddenly are going to get real reticent to talk about Epstein, whether it's Hakeem Jeffries, whether it's Larry Summers, that Harvard president you mentioned a second ago who worked for Barack Obama. We're going to find out a lot about a lot of folks because you know what else is in this bill that just passed tonight? It's got to be a searchable database so any American can go in and read the files for themselves. That's how it should be. I'm looking forward to seeing what's there.
Boomerang. Boomerang is what's there. You're going to see a massive boomerang, guys. And this is the House Oversight Committee, James Comer today, Shady, that reveals that the House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's banks, and they're going to follow the money. Check this out.
The banks were notifying the government. The banks suspected that this type of activity was taking place with Epstein, by all accounts. So, we're gonna try to determine what the banks knew. But the banks did what they're supposed to do. If they filed those suspicious activity reports, then it's up to the federal government to follow through. So there are many steps along the way where I believe these women, these victims or survivors, whatever you want to say, they were let down by the federal government. The federal government didn't do its job in protecting people, in identifying criminal activity and doing something about it.
Do you have a...
The banks were...
So what happened is there was money that was flagged, but it's up to the federal government to investigate that flag. And guess what they didn't do, Shady Groove?
They didn't investigate.
No.
and everybody's going to say that it was, Donald Trump's administration that's not doing the investigation. If you're not noticing, like they're all acting like, it's Donald Trump's administration that aren't doing these investigations. This is getting ready, guys. This is so good. Like I'm looking back on everything that happened from the moment that, they brought him up to the White House and they gave Poso and all those goobers the little Epstein file document that they all walked out there, they're hold that. From that moment on, this thing became Donald Trump's little toy to play with these people with. This is how he lured them. He lured all of them, Tucker, Candace, all of these people online, the Hodgkin twins, Owen Schroyer, InfoWars, all these people, he lured them right into the little trap by saying the Epstein files are a hoax. And they all did like Democrats do. They take and they spin what you say into the most ridiculous thing that you could have possibly meant and then run with it as a news story because they conflate reality just like Democrats do. And then they pretend like they can't understand things or you're too dumb to figure it out. And then they make all this noise. Well, thank you, Donald Trump, for again exposing. And thank you for doing it enough times so that we could get rid of these 40-some people and actually put some new blood in Congress next year. We're going to run the gamut with these people in 2026 and bury this corrupt temple for good.
Yeah. And, it's like Donald Trump has got the laser pointer playing with all the MAGA cats, the fake MAGA cats.
100%. Like every single one. The only people not addicted to the laser pointer are the people that are really MAGA.
Yeah. Boom. All right, so this is Harvard. This is Larry Summers stepping down and taking a break from OpenAI board of directors and Harvard. Check it out. Check this out.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein, and that I've said that I'm going to step back from public activities for a time, but I think it's very important to fulfill my teaching obligations. So, with your permission, we're going to go forward and talk about the material in the class. Some of you will have seen my...
Wow. So you go to Harvard and you got, Larry Summers apologizing for Harvard's, interaction with Jeffrey Epstein. Isn't that crazy, Shady?
I think that it's an amazing moment. I think that we are bookmarking this moment for a chapter in American history that's currently closing. This chapter is closing on American history, and all of this stuff that we have been inundated with. You talk about globalism, DEI, all of these narratives that come from the media. Epstein, Maxwell, her parents, they're all part of this scam. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, InfoWars, they're all part of this scam to bend your mind to their will, as opposed to undergird or restructure your own will and your own power. That's what people should be doing. People should be inspiring you to be you, not inspiring you to be more like them. And whenever you kind of see this, like I saw a comment somebody said earlier about Steve Bannon being pro. Of course, Steve Bannon is pro-Trump on the surface, but is he actually espousing a pro-Trump message? Why is he doing all of this underhanded stuff in the way that he talks about it? Why is the people around him and his little narratives more important than the truth?
Yeah. Now we got another boomerang with Hakeem Jeffries, right? We showed you that he's got ties, but he was on CNN. Check this out, Jay. And he was asked about Plaskett.
For being here. Obviously, a lot of movement up on Capitol Hill today. And you heard Stacey Plaskett there. She was arguing her texts with Jeffrey Epstein were not illegal. But in your view, were they appropriate?
Well, Stacey Plaskett is not accused of violating any House rule, any law, any statute. And she's clearly and unequivocally denounced Jeffrey Epstein. And I think what the survivors fought for today is the type of transparency that came out of the House, went through the Senate, and is now on its way to Donald Trump's desk, where hopefully he'll sign it into law. Because at the end of the day, all the American people are asking for is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, which is why these Epstein files that Donald Trump and his administration has been hiding for months need to be released.
But do you think it was appropriate for her to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein 11 years after he pleaded guilty?
I mean, I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett to discuss this issue because we've been focused today on making sure that there was a decisive vote as it related to the Epstein files and the release. I'm thankful for the work of Representative Massey, of Ro Khanna, but most importantly, the survivors.
Do you plan to talk to her about it?
I think that we successfully defeated a resolution that lacked any basis, was not credible, and was being brought by an individual who was trying to weaponize this issue to reinvigorate his own failed gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina. It was rejected on a bipartisan basis on the floor today. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, I was just asking if you personally believe messaging with Jeffrey Epstein, who was at that point a registered
sex offender. What about the guilt by association, Shady? It only works on Trump, right? What about, you, Hakeem? What about taking money, Hakeem? What about you, Plaskett? Now, remember, Stacey Plaskett said that she was going to give back the money that she got from Jeffrey Epstein, but she reneged on that, Shady.
Yes, she did. Well, I would just like to ask the audience, scenario, it's easy to do. It's not hard. What happens in the media if information comes out and shows a timeline where Jeffrey Epstein is texting with Jim Jordan in real time, and Jim Jordan in real time is asking questions of someone sitting there at the table that's testifying, a question that Jeffrey Epstein prompted him to ask the person? What would the media do? Come up with it on your own. Mm-hmm. You tell me.
Now let's look at this, Shady Groove. We have Stacey Plaskett. I think, this is Plaskett. Plaskett was saying that she was trying to get to the truth from Epstein. Listen to this, Shady Groove. Oh, my God. And then she straight up lied. Check it out.
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly.
Now, let me just tell you that the Jeffrey Epstein that she's going to mention is not Jeffrey Epstein of Epstein Island fame. Right. It's a random doctor named Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep. And she thinks that she's like, she's hit pay dirt here. This is what you get what you pay for, guys. You want to talk about the socialists?
Yeah.
You want a good socialist, Jeff? You're not going to find somebody with brains.
And I'm sorry, this is Jasmine Crockett. Yeah.
Jasmine Crockett. Yeah. You're either going to have a socialist or somebody with brains. You have both.
Mitt Romney, the NRCC.
This is all a lie.
Lee Zeldin.
Lie.
George Bush.
Lie.
Win Red.
Lie.
McCain Palin.
Lie.
Rick Lazio.
Nah.
I just want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review. This is absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous because this is not Stacey. I messed up, guys. This is, I have the wrong one here. Yeah.
You really messed that up.
It happens. It happens. But yeah, these people are just straight up lying, Shady Groove.
Well, I mean, I would check that, Here. A lot of people in our movement do this thing too, Jeff. They forget to look at the middle name initial.
Yeah, that's right. And this is Congresswoman Backtrack. That's right, they do. This is Congresswoman Backtracks on keeping Epstein donations. We've done a big deep dive on Sussman and ProPublica and all of that. We know all about you guys and the island and Parler and all that, guys. We know all about your schemes and scams, Shady. We know all about it right here on the MG Show.
And I think we gave you a pretty solid review on Monday.
Yeah. Was it Monday or yesterday? I can't remember.
I thought it was Monday that we kind of went back through the whole review of Parler and the connections to Bongino and stuff like that.
Gotcha. And remember, there's nothing to see here, guys. The Democrats are like, nothing to see here.
But go all in on Donald Trump. And again, everything that was disclosed about Trump, the mainstream media tried to make it a big deal. It was nothing that hadn't already been out there, nothing that President Trump hasn't already explained dozens of times to the American people and the national public. This is new information. And the Democrats, they don't even want to inquire about it. They just want to say nothing's wrong here. This is a completely normal text exchange between a convicted sex offender and a member of Congress trying to embarrass the President of the United States. There's nothing wrong with Hakeem Jeffries asking Epstein for money, but the Republicans should pay the price because they're not doing enough to seek justice for Epstein. We're going to continue to investigate this the atrocities of Epstein and Maxwell, and we're going to continue to give the American people full transparency. That's what the Oversight Committee is doing, despite the Democrats' effort to score political points by embarrassing Trump.
Well, the American people want transparency, Mr. Chairman. As you
Yes, we do. And we're getting it because the boomerang is hitting hard, Shady Groove.
Boomerang is coming and coming pretty fast.
Yeah. Wow. So this is Anna Paula Luna. She said the Plaskett censure failed because House leadership exchanged the vote to protect a Republican that is having a lot of issues and should not seek re-election. Check this out.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Florida seek recognition?
I have a parliamentary inquiry.
The gentlelady from Florida will state her inquiry.
I was wondering if the Speaker of the House of Representatives can explain why leadership on both sides, both Democrat and Republican, are cutting back-end deals to cover up public corruption in the House of Representatives from both Republican and Democrat members of Congress.
The gentlelady has not stated a proper parliamentary inquiry.
Or a popular one.
But I think the American people know what happened tonight.
Yeah, we do know what happened tonight. What happened was they basically put a bill in, and let's just look at it here. This is it. Corey Mills, Florida. Republicans who voted with the Democrats against the resolution was Gooden from Texas, Don Bacon from Nebraska, Dave Joyce from Ohio, and they voted present, which is the same thing as voting no, is Gabarino from New York, Muser from Pennsylvania, and Obernolte from California, guys. And they tried to get, they put Corey Mills in there in Florida 7, Shady. Interesting.
Well, I think it's interesting because what they were trying to do was they were trying to censure her for and to get her off the Intel committee. She's on the Intel committee.
Yeah.
So that, it's kind of like, you would think, oh, well, all these people are so concerned about Jeffrey Epstein and all his Intel connections, then they should be concerned about the idea that he's communicating with somebody in real time and getting their questions answered. At minimum, should maybe take a break from the Intel committee.
That's right. Real quick, let me get this one done and out of here. Guys, we're really slow on donations, but we got a commercial for you guys because this country was built by calloused hands and unshakable grit. At Sea of Mud Apparel, they make gear for the ones still doing the hard work, the forgotten men and women of rural America. Every piece they make is American-made, patriotic, and built to last. It's rugged, durable, and made for folks who just don't quit when the job gets tough. And right now, buy one, get one free. You got a BOGO all the way through Thanksgiving. Plus, if you send us a photo of your Sea of Mud gear, we'll hook you up with a 25% site-wide discount code for your next order. That's amazing. Don't wait. Gear up, stand tall, and show what rural America is made of. Head to seaofmud.com right now. That's seaofmud.com. Use code RUMBLE for 15% off.
And yeah, just a little quick note, guys. I just want to let you know that we've reorganized the show. And we reorganized the show with Rumble and working with their ad program. But I'd also like to let you guys know that you're getting a little bit more content now. We're not going back to the 5-minute break at the top. 2 times this week we went through the commercial break. So we've reduced the amount of commercials that are coming to you tremendously. So we kind of need, it's we need looking really light right now for November. So if you could help us out, it'd be great.
So, Shady, I just want to just explain something real quick, because sedition, 18 USC 2387 cites that, quote, activities affecting armed forces generally criminalizes knowingly advising, counseling, or urging any member of the U.S. military to disobey, desert, or refuse lawful orders with intent to interfere with the military operations or loyalty. That is what you call sedition. Is that what this is right here, Shady? Check it out.
Yes. Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy. Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse
illegal
orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
That's a lie.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Wow.
You want to talk about destroying someone's life? Any human being in the armed forces, in the intelligence community, in the Navy, I don't care where you're at. If you're dumb enough to listen to that and to actually disobey direct orders, then you should be put in the brig and dismissed immediately. I mean, pronto. Almost the idea that these people are able to go out there and put that to tape should constitute some sort of visit to them. Exactly who do you think that you are? And maybe, just maybe, you could threaten them with some legal parameters for this nonsense.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys.
You can't do that, guys. That'd be like saying, oh, well, if you're in the middle of Iraq and your commander tells you to go out there and start shooting at them, and instead you go the other way. That's the same thing. There is literally no difference. I'm not making mountain out of a molehill there. This is the bedrock, everyone. If you sign up and you volunteer and you want to be part of the armed forces or the intelligence community in America, then you best learn first to listen to your direct commander, to your chain of command directly. If you can't do that, that's you can have no leg, you can have no arm, you can have half a brain and still do that.
It's so crazy, man. I mean, that's borderline treason. I mean, that Slotkin, we told you she was from the CIA. Now has to admit it because she was exposed. Shady, remember that?
I do remember that. And also the Spanberger that just became governor of Virginia is one too.
Yeah. Unbelievable, guys.
Virginia company, by the way, interestingly enough.
Yeah, if you Imagine that. We got another pesky Q-proof, Shady. We were talking about it yesterday, but I got it pen to ink, if you will, or ink to pen or whatever. But what do we have here, Shady? We have a pesky Q-proof regarding those not seeking re-election on 11/13, and it was also updated. Who are the 47 members of Congress not seeking re-election? There's a post number 24 on 11/1/17. Any person making statements that they will not be seeking re-election was put in submission for the betterment of the country and will not be prosecuted, and all will do as told. You will see more of this occur, not yet normal, yet disregarded. And even on the Democrat side, as campaign season approaches, 47 members of Congress, guys, are not seeking re-election. This is the highest number in recent years. Some, including several high-profile lawmakers, are retiring from politics altogether, while others are running for other political offices, either in their state or in the U.S. Senate, guys. But look at this, Shady. Look at that.
Talk about music to our ears.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's real. And all these different positions, whether they're Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. We can contest the seat. We can see, because what happened last year was, nobody talks about this in the media, Jeff. Nobody will explain to the American public that something happened in America last year that has literally never happened in the history of this country. And that was that every one of the 3,350 precinct districts moved to the right. Not one of those districts had more Democrat votes in the last election than this one. You understand that? Every single one of those polling places moved to our side in that last election. Whenever they say, "Oh, this wasn't a mandate," it absolutely was a mandate. There's never been a mandate as such that was decreed by the American people in 2024 ever in the history of our country. And that's the reason that you're seeing all the stuff that, most political people, show me the political will of George W. Bush to go out and start rounding up illegals and having the video footage play it in the news and not really care, or blowing up drug boats in the Caribbean. Did you see the graphic, Jeff, about all of the warships that are in the Caribbean? I don't know. We didn't talk about this yet, but there is, if you see them on the map, if you look at the Caribbean stacked up with South America, right above South America, between South America, the Caribbean, and Africa, the Horn of Africa, that whole area right there on the Caribbean, I would say there's 10 of them. There's 10 U.S. warships in the Caribbean right now.
Wow.
So the reality of the situation is, you want to talk about a war on drugs. Well, the war on drugs failed. The reason the war on drugs failed is because it wasn't really a war on drugs. It was a war for drugs. It was a war to bring drugs. It was all inverted. Everything, the illegal immigration, all this stuff, all that was inverted. It was all to do the opposite. Now Donald Trump is actually implementing a war on drugs, and Rand Paul's hair lights on fire. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Shady Groove, they're saying 14% of the U.S. Navy fleet is now operating in the Caribbean.
Isn't that crazy? There's a bunch of them down there. Might not be 10, but there was a bunch. I saw the graphic, and we're seeing, I think, 2 more drug boats in the last couple of days that we've not gotten an opportunity to mention.
I see 14. So there's the U.S.
Nice. That's it. That's the graphic. Thank you.
What is it? The USS Graverly, Wichita, USS Jason Dunham, USS Iwo Jima, USS Fort Lauderdale, USS San Antonio, USS Lake Erie, USS Stockdale, F-35 fighter jets, AC-130 gunships. Yeah. The U.S. Navy ship Henry Kaiser, U.S. Navy ship Wilson Wharf, U.S. Navy ship Kanawaya. I don't know. And then MH6 Little Birds and Mi-60 Blackhawks.
Don't you feel better by seeing that after you saw that?
And then there's Coast Guard cutters out there.
You feel better, right?
Yeah.
There's something about that makes you feel like all nice and snuggly, doesn't it?
I mean, that's really what you call a war on drugs. I mean,
yeah, like defending the border. Like, come on, bring it. Where are you? And also, not to mention that's the Caribbean. Now we're talking about the South or the Eastern Pacific. Also, there's also some presence out there, and 2 of those boats for the last week were taken out of the Eastern Pacific, which is like trying to run out of Mexico up to the California border. So all of this is being, like I made the comment to somebody that was all animated on drugs. Like, you better stock up. Like all you little liberal Democrats, that are all addicted to your MDMA and your cocaine and all your drugs. I would recommend you stock up now, because there's not going to be much of a supply soon.
Wow. I mean, we've covered a lot today. Let's go ahead and cover this at the end of the show. This is, let's just play this little clip here from the ABC lady that got slapped down by Donald J. Trump. She doubles down. Check it out.
Hey, Mary Bruce with ABC News here, and it has been quite a day here at the White House. The president welcoming for the first time in 7 years the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman back here to the White House. He had been branded a pariah for his human rights abuses, but the president welcoming him with open arms. And we had a chance to ask him questions in the Oval Office. The Crown Prince is not someone who often faces the press, and I asked him point blank why Americans should trust him, given the fact that U.S. intelligence concluded he orchestrated the brutal murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and that 9/11 families are furious that he is here in the Oval Office today. And President Trump pushed back on that questioning. He argued that journalist Jamal Khashoggi was controversial. He said, quote, things happened, but that the Crown Prince didn't know anything about it. Bin Salman then responding as well, saying it was a huge mistake, but defending his handling of this, the way that Saudis have investigated this, and he said they're working to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. Hey, Mary Bruce.
All right. So who is Adnan Khashoggi, shadygrooove? Let's just kind of go through it, and then I'll let you add. Jamal Khashoggi's murder was set up by to alienate the crown prince on the world stage, guys. Okay, that's why the C_A did it. If you don't know who Khashoggis are, Adnan Khashoggi, Jeffrey Epstein's sole financial client and the CIA's favorite gun runner, then you're not very well read on this stuff. Khashoggi was not a journalist. He was a public commentator who leveraged his family's ties to the CIA and MI6 to get his op-eds published in CIA's media platforms, like the Washington Post. Enough with the pearl clutching. Alex Jones, Adnan Khashoggi, the late Saudi billionaire, was a financier behind Genesis Intermedia, Alex Jones's platform. Michael Flynn, Saudi in Khashoggi case, met Flynn, an Israeli strategist on Iran regime change. Robert Mueller looking into 2017 meetings between Rida, Intel official Ahmed al-Asiri, Flynn, and Joe Zamel of the Psy Group, guys. So, and then Shady, do you want to cover this?
Yeah, you could just read it if you would.
To understand the MSM's over focus on certain people and events, we must gain more context on what was that person or event's significance to the global blackmail intelligence control game. Jamal Khashoggi was a general to them. So was Soleimani, Maxwell, Epstein, Weinstein, to name a couple. And look at this, shadygrooove. Sauce.
So Adnan Khashoggi is right there. That is Adnan Khashoggi. That is the human being that is responsible for InfoWars. So if you want to talk about that, is also the human being that is responsible for Jeffrey Epstein. Is this not a coincidence? Is it a coincidence the same guy that was funding Jeffrey Epstein was the guy that started InfoWars? Also, the guy connected right there, you see at the bottom to Dodi Al-Fayed, the person who was with Diana. Okay? This is a global game of risk. And you guys are out there that are paying attention to people like Steve Bannon and paying attention to people like Alex Jones. You're playing checkers. You're literally playing checkers. You might as well just, kind of go on over there and just sit in the corner, because nobody understands this game like we do here. Yeah. Nobody understands what InfoWars is like we do here. Nobody understands that this psychological operation is not meant to tell you lies. The psychological operation is meant to weaponize the truth. Yeah. You understand that? What we're doing, we could weaponize the truth. We could easily weaponize the truth just like they do. You basically make faux outrage about every single thing and then lead people down rabbit holes 24/7, never coming to any conclusions, but you can constantly talk about things that are true. Yeah. You have to understand that what it is that gets you somewhere is conclusions. These people are keeping you in perpetual non-conclusion land. Oh, we're just asking questions. Even if they come up with the answer to the questions, they'll never present the damn answer because the answer's no good. The answer to a question or the solution to the problem is like a cure for a disease. Those things are in the same category. Keep them as far away from that as we possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to be here telling you the truth and figuring it out, because obviously they really have a problem with this show, shadygrooove.
Yes, they have a big problem with this show, and it's like I said earlier, the financing of what we're doing here is all supported by you. because all of the whole network, the network that originally thought, oh, Matrix and Shady are doing good. Yeah, well, that was until they realized that we were on to them the whole damn time.
Mm-hmm. And real quick to thanks Kimmy Mack, $25 Rumble Rant. Cram, thank you so much. $17 Susie Q, you both are awesome. Thank you so much. $20 Rumble Rant and a 17 from G Brothers to match Cram. And Shady, we're out of here. Holy moly.
Thank you guys so much. I'd like if you can't make a donation to the MG Show, please, 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 if you're on Rumble, it means so much to come to Rumble and to have an account and to click this like button. I'm begging you guys. You guys have no idea how much this helps us. The number of viewers that we get on a monthly basis helps us and has taken the burden a little bit off of you guys. But we can't completely relax here. We got to understand. It's like if you want us on the air, you got to be participating in what it is we're doing.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Shady, and thank you, Yeti. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We got the little black book blues boomerang, Shady Groove. Here we go.
They told us for years it was all just a hoax. Right-wing fever dreams and conspiracy jokes. Orange man bad, that's the only real crime. While the island ran quiet with powerful dimes. Bill flew 26 times, said I barely recall. Hillary's pal Harvey laughed in the hall. They pointed at Trump like a magician's left hand, while the right hand kept signing for underage land. Hear the whistle, feel the sting. The names in that book got a familiar ring. Every finger you pointed just came swinging back around. Now the island's on fire and it's burning your town. Scream, believe women, except when they flew, except when the pilot logged passenger 2. Plaskett took Epstein cash, 20 grand and change. Jeffries pocketed 40 from the very same exchange. Called us conspiracy nuts in the street, while the Lolita Express had their names on repeat. Media mavens with anchors so sleek told us nothing to see. Move along, go to sleep. Hear the whistle, feel the sting. The names in that book got a familiar ring. Every finger you pointed just came swinging back around. Now the island's on fire and it's burning your town. thought the mirror would show your own head. Plaskett on the floor yelling stunt, recipe for chaos, while our own campaign ledger still reeks of his cologne. Jeffries preaching justice with Epstein in the till, saying victims should stay nameless. Boy, they're nameless still. You screamed about cages and kids in the night, while your donors drank champagne on a pedophile flight. Yeah, tall at 25, and the files hit the light. Same old faces still clutching the mic. Context, they cry, it was different back then, but the money don't wash off no matter how hard you spin. From Hollywood Hills to the DC swamp water, same little black book, same devil's own daughter. Plaskett and Jeffries, who took the devil's dime, now fighting like hell to keep it all buried in time. Yeah, the boomerang's home now, buried deep in the bone. Every stone that you threw just got etched with your own. You wanted a monster, congratulations, my friend. He wrote you a check, and he's cashing it in. Funny thing about dirty money, it always leaves a stain. Flight logs don't care, bank records don't forget, and the island still remembers every name. So do we.
www.mg.show. Boom.